Hey, New Destiny family friends, this is Bishop Harden with the New Destiny Church. Yeah, I said that, the New Destiny Church. No longer fellowship, we are the New Destiny Church. I'm so excited that you joined us. For those who are watching this video on Sunday morning in service, hey everybody, how you doing? Guess what? It's our birthday, y'all. It's our birthday, shawty. It's our birthday this morning. We are 11 years old. 11 years old. My wife and myself always like to say that we like to refer to our age and expectation as we do children. So 11 years old, we're at a point now to where we should have some responsibilities. We should be growing up a little bit more, doing things a little different, because there's more expected out of an 11-year-old child than a 1-year-old child. So we're 11 years old, New Destiny. Give God some crazy praise that we made it 11 years. So many people have been asking me, that we changed our name. We're New Destiny Church now. We changed our logo. I thank you, Lewis, for hooking us up with the beautiful, beautiful logo. For those, and Lewis Strotter is a great, great graphic designer. Thank you so much, man. We have a new look of our building. Man, if you're watching this on YouTube, you got to stop by to see the New Destiny. And then, we just have a different approach to ministry. And many people have been asking me, why did you relaunch? Why did you change the logo? Well, here it is right now in this video. I don't know why it's taking me so long to make this video to answer this question, but I think there's no better time than the present. So why did we relaunch? Why did we change our name? Why did we change the whole entire edifice? Because we're no longer the same church. When did this happen? Listen, I've been following the pieces and trying to figure it out myself. And I've been kind of recanting back in my mind and trying to figure out, when did God kind of just release this thought in my mind? And I just kind of put it all together. God's been working on this since July. For those who want to know, it's been since July. It's not something we just thought about to rebrand ourselves, to try to reincarnate ourselves. No, we rebranded ourselves because, watch this. Back in July of 2020, I had one of the most life-changing conversations with the pastor, David Branson. And this conversation changed not only me, but it changed the DNA of our ministry. From that day on, we were no longer the church that birthed out 11 years ago. Watch a little bit of this clip that me and Pastor Branson had, a conversation we had from over a year ago.
As a ministry leader, I'm a gatekeeper, and I'm keeping this gate. Now, if I have a lot of rules and locks on my gate that you have to jump this high, and you have to make these standards, and you have to do this, and this before I'm gonna let you in my gate, then there's a lot of people that won't ever benefit from the blessing of being able to serve the feet of Jesus and being able to serve.
The biggest problem we've had is that we've limited people who want to serve at our church.
Yeah.
We always ask ourselves on that, why people don't want to serve, because we made it so hard. And I picked up something while you was talking, and I don't know why I never thought about this, but we should let people serve like they give. And we never walk around and say, you got to give from the time you walk through this door. If you don't give, you're a dirtbag. We leave the flexibility up to you of when you give, when you don't give. And the more we leave that flexibility, they get a chance to learn to grow from their giving. And then once they learn from their giving, then they're able to learn the importance of giving, then they give more. But if we make it mandated up front, they're going to be less likely to give. In the same way should be with the serving. What I'm hearing from you is that if you make it an option, if they serve when they can, and then once they start serving more often, they'll start seeing that, man, the more I serve, the more God blesses me, and the more I want to serve. We lock the gate before they even walk through it. This is good.
This verse helped me. And it says, so let each person give as he decides in his own heart to give.
Wow.
Not grudgingly or of necessity, but God loves a cheerful giver. And so if you as a ministry leader can help that person, that Christian, that sheep, that individual, find where that boundary line is within them, and then make the ministry flexible where they can still be a part, Because some people come in and as they decide in their heart to give, it's this much. And you know what? I'm not going to bash you over the head and say, well, I give this much and you should feel horrible. No.
But just know I'm gonna share this with my church. We're gonna you are revolutionizing how we approach a ministry. And I want to say I thank you for this. I don't ever want to be too big for my britches. I always say that I don't know everything, and when I do say I know everything, everybody should ought to run from me, because that's when I stop growing. And so to hear that even that you're about to start your church, but you're able to help somebody who's been doing it for 10 years, I want to say thank you.
See, many people don't understand what that conversation did to me, what this conversation did to New Destiny. But that day just changed our direction, changed our approach. I'll write that down. It changed our approach from that day forward. We was no longer the same church. And many people over the years was scarred by our old approach, that we wanted to get you locked down to ministry, get you to serve the way we want to serve, and get you to do what we want to do. It's almost like, and I tell pastors today, it was almost like the noose of ministry. If we got you locked into a ministry, we had you now locked into the guilt of not showing up. And after that conversation, it changed me. It changed the approach of ministry, that if we're going to change our mind and change the world, we got to make sure we do it in a loving fashion, that we got to make sure that we approach in a way that where people can serve different. Like we said in that conversation, you can serve like you give. You know, you choose. I think it should be an opportunity to serve. Pastor R.A. Vernon, a great man of God, made this statement: we get to serve. We get to serve, not we got to serve. And we tried to make it before in the first few years that you had to serve. And what happened was it allowed people to get into ministry and fail me and fail God and fail the church. After I've already failed at home, after I already failed at work, now I'm coming to church, another failure. Well, that's out the door. We want you to take off a Sunday. We want you to take a break. We don't want you serving all the time. We don't want one person doing everything. We want to make sure that we are able to operate with minimal staff to do just the minimal things. You know, we don't want to overwhelm anyone, and we want to make sure we can operate minimally. And if you choose to serve, we have a place for you. And so that day we were reincarnated. We was born again, in a sense, that this is different, and everyone needed to know that we was no longer the same church. How you do that? You have to reinvent yourself. So listen. So not that I embraced it immediately. And so I kept hearing in the back of my head, didn't put two and two together. I didn't realize that this conversation was a reincarnation of who we were, or a rebirth. I'm gonna use that word better, rebirth of who we were. I kept hearing in the back of my head, relaunch, you need to relaunch, you need to change your name, get rid of the fellowship, just New Destiny, change your name, relaunch, get rid of the fellowship. I kept feeling this over and over again. And I thought this was just like a way of, just trying to start over again and start fresh, right? And so I kind of just rejected it, didn't want to embrace it. And I felt in my spirit that God was telling me to do it, but I kind of just put it off. I was gonna put it off as long as I could. I was gonna put it off. Until one day, I looked up and I got a text message. In October, July, the conversation happened. In October, I got a text message. I didn't move the way I was supposed to move. And so I looked up and I saw these pictures. Someone said to me and said, listen here, we got another church out there that looked just like us, got our same logo. And what you gotta realize, this logo was also made by Louis Schroeder. It was a one of a kind. It was something we didn't get patented, but it was a one of a kind, and nothing against this church. But I saw these pictures and I wanted to get angry. You ever wanted to get angry, but you couldn't? And so I wanted to get angry. I wanted to get mad, like, how you gonna steal a logo and da 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 da. And immediately I felt in my spirit. For those who know me for a while, they know the testimony of about maybe 19 years ago. I bought an 88 Cadillac DeVille with a fifth wheel. I even put some spinners on it. And it wasn't me. I was just trying to be, a cool cat. And I was a preacher. Well, I was just about to be a preacher, or I was a preacher. I can't remember. It was around that same time zone. But, and I pulled up at church one day. I saw this white guy, this cool little fella, and God say, get a car to him. Like, what? I told my wife, I said, baby, God just told me to get my car to this guy. And I didn't. And I went home. I don't know how many days later, I woke up, went outside, my car was gone. Someone stole my car. And immediately, I couldn't get mad because God said, I told you to give the car away. And immediately God told me, almost 19 years later, I allowed you to witness that feeling so you would know what it felt like 19 years later when I took your logo, because you wasn't obedient to what I told you to do. It's like God knew, and He knows us. He knows us. You know, he knew our ending before our beginning. And some of y'all think I'm crazy and too spiritual, but you just don't know me and God's relationship. God knew I was going to need some type of incentive to make a shift. Incentive to make a shift. And so when I saw it, I still acted on calling the pastor and I talked to him. I said, man, and I got angry in the conversation. I felt God calmed me down because the pastor got a bit irate with me. And he says, give it to him. I called him back the next day. I said, Pastor, I apologize for, letting that conversation go to a point of frustration. But it's not your fault. God gave you that logo because I wasn't obedient to do what I told him, to do what he told me to do. So in the fashion that I know how to move in, whenever God tells me to do something, even though I'm disobedient sometimes, like most of us are, I was reluctant. But now I quickly began to get the revelation that it's time to relaunch. Still didn't put the conversation together. I just knew it's time to relaunch. And we began to put together a relaunch committee. And we began to just try to figure out your new logo. Lewis tells me, Bishop, don't worry about it. I got you. I'm going to create you a new logo. We're going to get this thing. He called the pastor a bit upset because that was his creation and it was been hijacked. But, we told him don't do that. We love the pastor. Matter of fact, the pastor said one day he may ask me to come preach one day. But he began to create a new logo. We had about 4 or 5 of them that we was choosing from, that we were trying to figure out which one we was going to use. And we finally settled with this one. I love it. It's amazing. It depicts who we are. It's the blood of Jesus, the love of Christ, the cross. It's just the red of the blood, the white of salvation. It's just who we are and what we're doing now. We're a church that's redefined, reimagined, just kind of a same vision, different approach. Same vision, different approach. We're still New Destiny Church. We changed our mind to change the world one family at a time, but we're not doing it in such an aggressive way. We cannot do things the old way looking for different results. It didn't work. We broke a lot of people. I apologize to anyone we broke over years. One young lady just come to mind. Every time she came to church for the first 3 or 4 years, she tried her best to get connected to our ministry, and we tried our best to force her to get involved in ministry. And every time we tried to find a spot for her, because every time somebody walked through the door, I wanted to put them somewhere and put the leash of ministry around their neck so that they would be able to feel responsible to show up to church and feel as though that they had something to have to commit to no more. I only want people at New Destiny who wants to be a New Destiny. I only want people serving who wants to serve. And listen, and everyone is required to take a Sunday off, take a break, take a relaxation. And not just that, if you choose to say, you know what, I want to serve in 4 or 5 different ministries. Thank you, Miss Kelsey Williams. You can choose to serve in 4 or 5 different ministries and just show up everywhere when you want to show up. You get to serve in New Destiny. You have a new opportunity to serve at the rate God is calling you. And if you find somewhere that you think that just really fits you, you can settle there. But the moment we feel as though that you're showing up and you're trying to please us and not please God, we may ask you to sit down because we don't want that burden on you. So that is the New Destiny. A church that will love you, lead you, laugh with you. Most of all, you get a chance to serve the way you want to serve. So that is why we relaunched our church. We're no longer the same church that opened up many years ago. 11 years ago. Wow. Bishop Woodard, thank you for fathering me, my wife, and giving us your heart, and blessing us to do what we've done so many years. Even starting a new fellowship with NDCM. Everybody give NDCM a hand clap of praise. I know some of my sons and daughters are showing up for the birthday celebration. So I thank y'all for being here. Thank you for kissing that, Bishop Woodard. And thank you for being a father that stood on the sidelines and watched us grow. And as we grew, we became the church that God wanted us to be, not the one that you want to make us. And so I thank you for allowing us to walk freely, and now allow me to be able to allow people to walk freely, even in their ministry. We're excited. I don't know what the next years have to come, but I do know that I'm excited to be the new Destiny. We still changing our mind to change the world in a new church. Wow. Thank you so much, the crew of Harden Enterprise Services, LLC. They've done a great job with this edifice. So we're a new church, new logo, new approach, same vision. But we still changed our mind to change the world, one family at a time. Be blessed.